John from JO Ventures Outdoors, and today I've got another video for you. I think you're going to like this one. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while. As you know, I've been showing some of my sub collections. I've showed a lot of my Victorinox and Wenger knives early on, and then I showed my case collection in several videos. And so I've been wanting to show you my Schrade collection. I have several Schrade knives, and several are USA made. I do have some China made Schrade knives, but I think I've got some cool pieces. But what I really wanted to show you was my favorites. Yeah, I guess I could say they're my favorites. I really like Schrade USA old timers. One of the reasons is because my dad always carried, when we were growing up, he carried an old timer. My dad is still living. He likes to carry a pocket knife, something small, usually a Stockman. And so I remember him carrying a Schrade old timer. So when I was growing up. So I think maybe that's why I really like them, but they're among my favorites in my collection. And I think I have some really great ones here. And so I'm going to start with the old timer USAs, and then I'll get into the rest of my collection in another video, because I do have, some China made. I have a couple of really cool kind of commemorative pieces from Big J. They were gifts from Big J's Knives, Jerry over there. And then I have an LB7 that I purchased when I was young. So, and I've got a gift from Radio Geek Blades. That's an old timer. That's a China made, but I really like that piece. So we'll show you those in another collection, another video, kind of part two of the collection. But this is part one. This is the old timers, Schrade USA old timers. Now I looked for information on the Tang stamps and that kind of thing, and dating these. The closest I could find was these are all made according to the Tang stamp, 1973 to 2004. And so that gives you kind of an idea there. But what's also very cool about each one of these, and actually about most of my knives, but especially about these, is these all have a story. They have a little bit of a story about how I purchased them, or how they were given to me, or I traded for them. So that's cool too. So I'll tell you that as I go along. So we'll start with the little guy here on the far right. You may have recognized what this is. This is a Schrade 120T. And you can see it right there, Schrade USA 120T. That's the 120T PAL. And I'll tell you the story behind this one. And actually, it's in pretty decent shape. It was not like this when I got it. You can tell probably that the blade shape looks a little funny, and that's because it had a broken tip, and I repaired it. I bought this off of eBay, and I don't think I paid very much for it. I don't know, $5 or $6 or something. I bought it off of eBay just to do a refurbishing video on it for the channel. Kind of funny. I think you can find the video. But I really like it. It's just a cool little knife. And, it's got a little blade wobble. It was in bad shape. But isn't that cool? It's got that one that's really supposed to be I think a clip point blade, but, it's kind of funny shaped because it had a broken tip. But it's the classic old timer with the saw cut covers, Delrin, brass liners, and just a cool little piece. And it was in bad shape when I got it, and I bought it, with the purpose of refurbishing it. So I cleaned it up the best I could, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I think it turned out really cool. So there's the 120T PAL. You can actually buy a China-made version of that today, brand new, or you can look around on the internet or at flea markets, and sometimes you can find those. The next one in the lineup here is the 340T Stockman, and you can see there Schrade New York 340T, and it's your classic Stockman. It has this main clip point blade We'll open the blades up here for you. There's the spay blade, the ever famous spay blade. So let's get that open so we're not fighting against the spring there. But there we go. And then we got the clip. We have the sheep's foot blade there. Now this has a story. You can look down in the channel. It's got a little bit of, you know, residual corrosion there, and on the blades you can see they're kind of rough. Now I did use this. I used this for 30 days. This was my only knife. I did the one knife challenge from MBEDC, and that was pretty fun. Again, the classic brown socket handles or covers here. And the story behind this one is that I actually went to lunch with a coworker. I think it was last summer. Yeah, it was last summer because it was right before the Case knife event at Roachdale Hardware. And he comes bringing in this bag, and he said, "This is for you," you know. And I was like, "Oh, what is it?" And it was a bag full of pocket knives from he was cleaning out his mother's estate. And he said, "You know, look through these, see if you can sell some of them for me." And I did sell some of them. I bought some of them, you know, and I sold some of them locally at a shop that I do some business with on knives. And this was in there, and this was one of the knives that I chose to keep for myself. And it's kind of payment for helping him get rid of these knives and get them to good homes. I know Big J, I gave him one. There were a couple of the other guys that bought one. So yeah, pretty cool. There were several pretty cool knives in there, but this is the one I chose. It was so rusty. I couldn't open this blade right here. And in fact, none of the blades opened very well. It was just almost rusted shut, and I brought it back to life. So that's the story behind this one, and it was carried for 30 days in the One Knives Challenge. So that's the 34OT. And the next one here is, oh yeah, this is the cream puff right here. This was, I just showed this in the last video that I did. This was the result of a trade from Big J over at Big J's Knives. Jerry, he and I did a little horse trading here recently, and I got this 80T, and it is a Schrade, New York, USA, 80T in mint condition. And I'll tell you, if you ever do a trade with Jerry, there's one thing I can guarantee you. The piece you're going to get from him is mint or near mint. He has good stuff, and his pieces are always well taken care of. If they needed refurbished, they refurbished very well. And Jerry has taken good care of me. And so I thank you, my friend, for that and for the awesome trades. In fact, you know, I showed you that that 92 pattern case. He's the one that found that at the show and told me about it so that I could buy it. So, you know, that's just the kind of guy he is. And he traded this cream puff. I was joking around with him, telling him, you know, this is a cream puff. It is just so good. And the 80T, if you don't have an 80T in your collection, I highly, highly recommend that you purchase one. Let's get all the blades out here. They're all perfect. I don't know that this knife was ever even used. And I didn't really even clean this up. I haven't done anything to it. And I was going to carry it, but I told him it was too nice to carry, so I haven't carried it. Well, I did carry it to the knife show this past Saturday, but this is just, I mean, you can look down the channels there. I mean, it's perfect. The fit and finish on this thing is immaculate. This is just an amazing size for a knife. And that clip point blade is just beautiful. Look at that. 80T. Gotta have an 80T. Another one I think is really cool is this one right here. This is the 77OT Improved Muskrat. And I don't know if you can see the etching or not. You can just barely see a little bit of etching on there. It says Improved Muskrat. Now this has a story too. And you know, the Muskrat has these two clip point blades. If one went dull, the Trapper could use the other one to skin game or use it out on the trap line. So I think that's kind of the idea behind it. Again, the 77 OT, Schrade, USA. And this was a gift from Michael Richter at Richter Knives. He instant messaged me on Instagram one night and said, "Hey, I got something for you. I'm going to send it to you." And he showed me a picture of this. He said, "Do you want that?" And I was like, "Well, yes, I do want it." He said, "It needs some cleaning, and I didn't pay much for it, and you can have it." So I did send him a couple things, and I think he appreciated it. And um, nowhere near matched this gift, but I cherish this as well, and I cleaned it up. And it is a 77 OT Muskrat, very popular model within the OT series, and she cleaned up nicely. So Michael, if you're watching, thank you so much. Appreciate that. The next one here was one I was chasing for quite a while. This is the 194 OT USA, Schrade USA 194 OT. This is the Gunstock Trapper with the liner lock. It's got a brass liner lock. See there, press. And you can see how it locks the blade. And this is just a very cool size, kind of like the 8OT. It's about the same size. I think it maybe is, the 77OT is just a little bit bigger, but it's really a perfect size for a trapper, I think. Single blade. They make a double blade model, which I am hunting right now. 94 OT. I almost bought one at the knife show this past weekend, but it was too rusty for the price that they were asking, in my opinion. But there you can see the Tang stamp, Schrade USA 194 OT. The story behind this one was I found this at my local flea market for 15 bucks. So I grabbed it. I didn't even haggle with the guy, because the ones I've been looking at were like $45 on eBay, and I thought, I'm grabbing that thing. It needed a little work. I had to put a little time in it. And that's the thing when you're hunting blades. Don't be afraid to buy one that's a little rusty. As long as the springs are operating okay, as long as the blade is not whittled away, as long as it doesn't, even if it has a broke tip sometimes, I don't really care about that. You can buy some really great knife models for your collection for little money if you're willing to put a little time into cleaning them up. And so I've kind of learned that as I've gone, and this is one that really paid off for me, I think. I love this one. I really do. Actually, I love all these. These are just awesome. So there's the 194 OT. And then the last one in this video is it's green Delrin, saw cut Delrin, brass bolsters. This is the good old 5OT, Schrade USA 5OT plus. That means it's stainless steel. All these are carbon. This is stainless. And it's a lockback, little lockback, 5OT. I think they call it the Bruin. And it's got that little kind of modified, I don't know what you call that, drop point blade. I guess it's a drop point blade. And you can see old timer there. And the story behind this one was I was at an antique store. I was just kind of shopping around, and I saw this in the case. And I just hem-hauled around. I was searching on eBay to see how much they were going for, because I think I paid $26 for this. I thought that was a little high, but it turns out it was a pretty good deal. So, you know, you can find them cheaper if they need a little work, but this one was in pretty good condition. I did just a little light cleaning on it. I don't know if you can see inside there, but probably not very well, but it's in good shape, really good shape, very solid. So there's the 5OT Bruin with the green saw cut covers. And there's one of my favorite sub collections within my knife collection, my Schrade USA old timers. And so just an awesome model to collect. Um, and so I always try to pick them up when I can, if I can get them for a good price. Like I say, I'm kind of hunting the 94 OT, which is the two-bladed trapper. And so I'm kind of hunting that, but you know, I pick up whatever I can see that is in pretty good shape. So there it is. And I thank you all for watching.